Hi guys, and what's up? It's been a minute. Today I wanted to talk to you about Caitlin Clark winning Athlete of the Year. Her interview with Taylor, who is a American sportscaster for the NBC, and basically her people's reaction to Caitlin Clark's winning Athlete of the Year, and an article in Time magazine that was in partnership with Rolex, as well as my thoughts on it all. So let's go. Now, before I give you some kind of background story on her, I really want to talk about the culture. So the billboards announced their winners. Now, billboards are totally different from a Grammy and an Emmy, as they announce who is the most popular people that year based on an album and a digital sales, streaming, radio, airplay, touring, and social engagement. So 10 awards went to Swift, including top artist. SZA won top R&B female artist, and she won another award. B won country album of the year, I think. Top R&B album obviously went to 1111. Anytime he wins, I get so hyped. It makes me want to kind of 1111 steps. I would probably lose about 10 pounds. His dance routines are like an absolute workout. I'm really happy that Sensational won an award. Obviously, I think he should win a Grammy, an Emmy, and obviously get residency in Vegas because he deserves it. Now, that would be great, wouldn't it? It would be sensational. Anyway, Best Country Award, so that is obviously great. Let's see who will obviously win the Grammys. Now, I really want to talk about Caitlin Clark. She won the Athlete of the Year award, and I honestly think it was well deserved. She was featured in Time magazine, which is a first for any WNBA athlete. But before talking about Caitlin Clark, I really want to outline her performance and accomplishments first. She has $20 million deal with Nike. She is leading in assists per game. She has scored the most points by a point guard in a season and in NWA history. Now, Caitlin Clark is the first rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double, which consists of points, rebounds, and assists. She scored the most points in a season's franchise. Now, the list is obviously very long and exhaustive in all her kind of achievements in the short space of time that she has been in the WNBA. So I'm not obviously going to go through all of it. It doesn't really make sense because it's quite time consuming. All you need to know is that Caitlin Clark has been obviously doing her thing. Now, I'm going to say this because I think it needs to be said. An individual who has shown that their ability to perform to a high standard consistently, breaking records, not only on the field, but also contributing to people actually watching the WNBA, largely due to the fact that she had obviously contention between herself and Reese on the field. For example, the WNBA averaged about 657,000 viewers for the historic 2024 regular season. With the 2022 games played, viewership reached about 1 million followers across the league's media partners such as ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ION, CBS, and NBA TV. This was obviously fueled, in my opinion, by her popularity at Indiana Fever and the contention obviously with Reese. When I'm watching the game, I'm thinking, why is Reese doing this? I'm thinking, why is she doing that? Then I'm thinking to myself, who is that girl? It kind of reminds me of a kind of Dennis Rodman moment, because when he obviously played for the Chicago Bulls, you never knew what you was gonna get from him. And that is what I got from obviously watching the contention between Caitlin Clark and Reese. Now, even though the former player who wore number 11 and used to play for Las Vegas Aces, introduced the world to the WNBA by being on a reality show. Because prior to that, I only thought it was the NBA. So she's obviously a pioneer for starting that. That's what I would say. I believe Caitlin Clark won the title fair and square. I think with many sports where there's inappropriate behaviour from fans, and I believe things of that nature, they need to obviously be taken up by the board at NWA, who need to obviously set a standard or set a tone of what is expected of fans at games. I think with many sports where there is inappropriate behaviour from fans, I believe things of that nature need to be taken up with the board at WNBA, who need to set a standard of what is expected of fans at a game and off the game, revoking season tickets and things of that nature if need be. A player can only say so much, but that burden should never lie with the player, but with the WNBA. I believe that as the WNBA will get increasingly popular, thanks to players like Caitlin Clark, Reese, or even Wilson, the systems need to be kind of more robust in tackling situations like this. That is just my opinion. Now, I'm also going to address the issue where Caitlin Clark discussed the inequality about players receiving their due. Now, she mentioned about the privilege, which kind of irritates me, because I'm a person who thinks, well, if you're good at something, privilege has nothing to do with it in certain circumstances. Why, you may ask? Well, when the US basketball team won the Olympics, nobody mentioned anything about privilege there. Nobody. It was a team effort. Nobody said anything. And guess what? Caitlin Clark was not even there. You have people from Aces, you have people from Chicago going out there, doing their thing and showing people, not even showing people, showing the world the pool of talent from America. The attitude was like, we's up. This is America, metaphorically speaking. Now, Caitlin Clark plays in the WNBA all season, and just like other players who went to the Olympics, she worked her socks off and wins Athlete of the Year at home. It's a problem, but it shouldn't be. Now, Caitlin Clark shine like a diamond. I would say this about any other player, irrespective of their skin tone. I don't think that should even be a factor in this. I feel like people are questioning whether or not she should have won this. I don't even think it's up for debate. I don't think nobody really paid any attention to Indiana Fever until Caitlin Clark showed up. Just like Chicago Sky with Reese, because there's always going to be that one player in a team who outshines everyone else, because they are multi-talented, and it just happened to be Caitlin Clark on this occasion with Indiana Fever. And then obviously you've got Reese with Chicago Sky, and then you've got Wilson at Aces. I mean, the list goes on. Now, America is a country that has been built on hereditary inequality, injustice, but there have been many factions in society that have fought against this and have made significant headway with this, and obviously shown, no, we are in fact great businessmen and business women that are successful across the board. Now, my thing is this: as the WNBA is still only kind of 28 years young, and it's predominantly Black American players, it still has a lot of fine tweaking to do. And there's obviously room to shape it into being a better I feel like there's room to shape it into being better than the NBA. So instead of people saying this is unfair, invest a stake into the WNBA. Get some equity. Then that way, when people feel maybe it might be kind of falling short, you can actually have a positive impact in righting any wrongdoings. But what is not acceptable or shouldn't be tolerated in any capacity is bullying or harassment of another player, period. When you bully or harass a player, you need to sit out games. I said what I said. You cannot be kind of treating people any type of way because you feel a certain type of way towards them because they're in the spotlight. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Now, many people don't realize this, but many players play abroad because they generate significantly more revenue to the sum of 10,000 a month, depending on the league you're playing in. Players making anything from 2 to 4 million a year, which is a stark comparison to playing in the United States. Now, you've got abroad places like China or Spain, for example. However, once you start getting that sponsorship money, that kind of offsets that income playing in the WNBA. So the WNBA need to get more influential people on board. Mark Cuban is a great example, and I'll tell you why. Mark Cuban is a good place to start. He's always investing in something, telling people to pitch ideas. Well, he doesn't tell people to pitch ideas on his website, but if you go on his website, you'll be able to pitch. So, for example, Mark Cuban invested $285 million into the Dallas Mavericks. Prior to him going to the Dallas Mavericks, they were not doing so well at all, only winning like 40% of their games. Cuban comes along, right, as a person who's got a stake in the company. Now they're winning 60% of their games. Plus, he wasn't a passive kind of board member. He would actually interact with fans and be at game side with the players and fans, finding obviously creative ways to obviously generate revenue. Even though he is a minority owner of the Dallas Mavericks, he sold it to I think he sold it to the Allison family, who have ties with the hotel and casino industry, which actually makes sense because it's like you're building a consortium of sports and entertainment. Well, I'm of the mindset that if he does not invest, he probably knows somebody that can or generate revenue from the existing streams. Do you know what I mean? He still owns a minority share in the Dallas Mavericks, and therefore it's a good place to kind of start, I would say. Now, we all know that the NBA cover the kind of operating costs for the WNBA, who need to kind of create I used to think that they need to create a robust business model, but I'm not so sure anymore. It'd be good to see that they can obviously be independent from the NBA. How can players be going abroad and get significantly more money than they would do in the USA? Bearing in mind that this is all kind of dependent in obviously what league you're in. I don't even know why I'm saying that, but players do this all the time. Now, remember I previously said that the NBA should be independent from the WNBA. I don't know how that would even be possible, right? Because the NBA own half of the WNBA and the other half is owned by the 12 other teams across the WNBA. I don't know who owns the obviously smaller stake, but whatever, it is what it is. In an article by Sherwood, they said that the Atlanta Dream co-owner said if the 12 WNBA owners say that they want to do something and the NBA say no, it's a no. But I thought they had equal rights. Or do they? Anyway, I digress. These are the key points I think people should take away from this. NBA salary is over $2 million. Average WNBA salary is $119,600. Clark's base salary is $76,000. The top talent at the WNBA is $250,000. Now, the per team salary cap in the NWA is $1.4 million, whereas in the NBA, the cap is $136 million. Now, in 2020, the WNBA launched the Change Makers revamped sponsorship program for the likes of Nike and Google for multi-year investment deals. Now, 2 years prior to 2020, they raised $75 million. This was obviously backed not only by the NBA and WNBA owners, but other investors as well, including the former Secretary of State. In May of this year, Las Vegas Tourism Board wanted to obviously invest into the WNBA, which would have given the team, which would have given each player on the team $100,000 each. But I don't know what happened there. Not much is discussed about what happened there, to be fair. Now, this summer, apparently, meaning the WNBA, secured $77 billion media package deal that is supposed to run over several years. So there is substantial money there, but a lot of it needs to be kind of allocated to player salaries, better equipment, etc. Anyway, I would say well done to Caitlin Clark for obviously winning Player of the Year. Let's see how it kind of pans out for next year. And that's all I've got to say for now. Peace.